Nobody that I know involved in repealing 119 has ever said a word of hate. You know, we disagree and disapprove of certain kinds of behavior because we believe they're unbiblical. But we love the people who participate in certain kinds of behavior. And disapproval is not the same thing as hate. Disagreement is not the same thing as hate. They're quite different. We love people, and we love everyone in the city. We love people who are opposing us. We love people who falsely accused us. We love people who persecuted us, who slashed tires, who've done things to us. But we don't hate them. And what we believe that this ordinance has done is divide the city, and we believe it's unjust. It's an unjust ordinance. A group has came out when we got petitions together. I mean, just a quick history. This law was not conceived in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The law was conceived in the mind of a man named Terrence Bean, who lives in Portland, Oregon. And he started these kind of laws in 1978. And he's been crafting these, perfecting it and crafting it over the years. Well, that's where it came from. Human Rights Campaign is, in my opinion, a misnamed group. But nevertheless, it came from the outside. And there was no public discussion. I've been involved in a lot of things in this city and other cities where you have a lot of public discussion. Roads, all these bypasses and things, you have roads, you discuss it, the public comes out, you decide to do it this way or that way. There's research, there's charts, there's graphs, there's studies, there's public opinion, way before anything is done. In this case, for this ordinance, there was 0 studies, 0 research. I asked the mayor, I asked the city council, every one of them individually. No research, no studies, no graphs, no charts, no nothing. There wasn't anything done ahead of time. Yes, there was public discussion during the city council meetings, but it was too late. 6 of the people had already made up their mind, way before anybody spoke up, way before. And so, those of us that want to repeal 119, we love this, all the citizens of the city. We believe that this is an unfair, unjust ordinance, and that it's not biblical to force people of religion, any religion, to have to violate their conscience, violate their First Amendment rights in order to be forced to do things against their beliefs and their conscience. And this ordinance causes that to happen. You have a choice in many cases. I know recently Kate Williams came out and said, well, ministers, I'm the one that decides to interpret the law. Actually, judges do. But he said, and I've decided that ministers won't be forced to perform same-sex ceremonies. Many lawyers totally disagree with that stand. I've read the law many times. It doesn't give an exemption. The Houston law actually does give that exemption. Right. The Fayetteville law does not. So that's a problem. There's other problems for people of faith being forced to do things that they don't want to do, like a photographer at a same-sex wedding. If that happens, then you're forcing somebody to either violate their conscience or obey the law in order to violate it. Something's wrong with laws like that are forced upon us. And so many of us have stood up and said, no, this isn't right. Fayetteville's already a fair city, it's already a friendly city, it's already a free city. And if there's no widespread research and studies of I still haven't heard of a single example, for instance, of somebody with a sexual orientation other than the normal being kicked out of a restaurant. If it's happened, nobody's been able to report that to me. I listened to all the testimony on the 2nd and 3rd council meetings. All I heard about was people's feelings getting hurt. Well, my feelings have been hurt too. All of us have our feelings hurt. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for people's feelings getting hurt. Nobody wants anybody to get hurt. And I would be the first one to help anybody in the city, no matter what has happened to them, to go to their aid and help them. And I think many of the people here would feel the same way. So what we want to do tonight is, you know, those of us that do believe that this is the right thing to do, that's the biblical thing to do, to repeal this ordinance, so that religious rights don't get infringed on, that business rights don't get infringed on. You know, this law says that the burden of proof is on the business owner when there's a complaint filed. The EEOC, the national thing, it's the opposite. If you have a complaint with EEOC, you have to have, the burden of proof is on you to bring proof. In this case, the business owner has to prove he didn't or she didn't do something discriminatory. Totally unprecedented for any kind of ordinance of any kind anywhere in the country. So we want to pray. You know, people have worked hard, and we want to pray right now, tonight, that God come and help us, and that God answer our prayers. People would vote over the next couple of days. They remember to vote for the repeal of 119. So what we'll do is we'll just pray, and different people can pray out. And you know, if there's anybody here that actually disagrees with us, we welcome you to be here, because this is a time of prayer, and we're going to seek God and reach out to the one true God and His Son Jesus, and we're going to ask Him for His help and for His guidance in this time. And I know there's different people from different denominations, and I always enjoy that, different traditions. So let's just pray and seek God in with your own voice in your own way.